This is the lockpicking lawyer, and what I have for you today is one of the few modern round body padlocks with a padlock size core that actually improves on the original in a material way. And by original, I mean the American Lock Series 700. This is the Toledo model TBK90R, and it differs from most round body padlocks in its core retention mechanism. Now for comparison, if we look at this American Lock Series 700, on the bottom you can see the industry standard core retention plate, and this is probably adequate for the task. However, if you've seen my video number 607, in which I ripped this plate out with a core puller, you know that I consider it to be the weak link of the design. Toledo has addressed this with a sliding plate that is far thicker than the retention plate used in the American Lock Series 700. It has a dovetail design which makes it far more pull resistant, and it also has a spinner in front of the keyway for added drill resistance. The cherry on top with the design is the molybdenum alloy shackle, which of course is far more cut resistant than normal hardened steel. It's actually a bit odd that I've not seen this configuration before now. I have at least a dozen round body padlocks made in the exact same Taiwanese factory that this one came from. They're from various different companies, including Schlage, Kryptonite, Multilock, Federal, Draper, some of the older padlocks, and many others. And none of these locks use the upgraded system. It's particularly odd when you consider that a couple of them cost over $100. To my recollection, the only other padlocks that are made in this factory that I've seen with this mechanism are made by Hugo, and here's one of them. It's the Cobra Padlock. You can see that same dovetail design with the spinner. Now here's where it gets really interesting. American Lock actually used a very similar system decades ago on the now discontinued Series 747. You can see it has that same dovetail design, a lot thicker than the currently used core retention mechanisms, but this has long ago been discontinued in favor of weaker but far more cost-effective options. Okay, enough chat. Let's see what it takes to pick into this. Under that spinner, we have an American Lock style keyway, so let's put a 50 thousandths pry bar in the top of the keyway. And I'm going to be using this Peterson standard hook in 18 thousandths. One is loose, little click out of 2, click out of 3, couple clicks actually, he feels set. Click out of 4, there we go, another click out of 4, 5, I think he's good. 6, okay, 6 is definitely binding, but he's not moving. Oh, there we go, got a little click out of 6, back to the beginning. Click out of 1, little movement on the core. Number 2 is definitely binding, but again, not moving. Oh, there we go, got a little movement, counter rotation, he feels set. Nothing on 3, nothing on 4. Okay, number 5 is binding, counter rotation, and we got the lock open. Okay, let's take this apart and see what's inside. Definitely some security pins in there. To take this apart, we have to start with a Phillips screw down the shackle hole. So let's take that screw out. And after we get the screw out, we have the security nut that comes out. And finally, we can slide this plate out. And on the back of the plate is the spinner. After that, the core drops out. And interestingly enough, usually when you look inside of these round body padlocks, you see a large hollow space. Here you can see they've only milled out just enough for the core and for the screw, which probably makes this a little bit heavier than most round body padlocks. Okay, let's open this core up. Looks like we'll need a clip remover. Okay, we got the clip off, so we should just need a key and a follower. Okay, looks like a pretty standard 6-pin core. All 6 chambers are pinned up. Let's drop these key pins out first. Number 1 is a serrated steel pin. 2 is a serrated brass pin. 3 is serrated brass. 4 is standard brass. So is 5. And 5 dropped into the wrong slot. And 6 is serrated brass. Now the 2 that are standard are both very short, and that's common when manufacturers use security key pins. When you have really short key pins, there's no opportunity for any potential serrations to come into play, so it would just be a waste of money to have serrated short key pins. For driver pins, in slot 1 we have a standard steel pin. 2 is a spool. 3 is a modified standard, probably a bump pin or anti-bump pin. 4 is a spool. 5 is a spool. And 6 is a spool as well. And all these springs look the same, and I don't see anything unusual in here. Oh, it looks like we have some countermilling in here as well. Okay, let me show you all of this. Okay, on the key pins, you can see we have 4 serrated key pins in slots 1, 2, 3, and 6. Number 1 is a steel pin for added drill resistance, and 4 or 5 are standard brass. And as I said, they probably would be serrated if they weren't so short. For driver pins, we have a standard steel anti-drill pin in slot 1, and we have spools in slots 2, 4, 5, and 6, and an anti-bump pin in slot 3. And looking at those springs, you can see they are all the same, no difference there. Moving over to the core, we have a normal American lock keyway, nothing unusual there. We have an actuator that is perpendicular to the keyway, meaning it is probably not bypassable. And then on the inside, you can see that we have countermilling in all 6 chambers. So all in all, I think a pretty impressive round body lock. That's all I have for you on this Toledo model TBL90R. If you have any questions or comments about it, please put them below. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe. And as always, have a nice day. Thank you.